So I talk to retirees every day and I get some serious insight on what happens if you don't prepare for the future when you're younger or if you don't make the right decisions when you're younger. So I'll tell you about 4 ways that will make getting older suck if you do not prepare. But there's also one positive thing that I learned about getting older, and I will talk about that as well. So number 1, most older adults are on the same medications. So as a Medicare insurance agent, I have to ask people what medications they're on so they'll know how they'll be covered on a specific plan and how much they'll have to pay out of pocket. When I first started as an agent, I was seriously overwhelmed by the overly complicated names of medications. But as time went on, I kept hearing the same medications over and over and over to the point where if someone were to mispronounce it, I would know exactly what medication they were talking about. So not only are most older adults on a lot of medications, but they're on the same medications for certain conditions. And these, I won't tell you what the medications are, but I'll tell you what these conditions are and what the medications are for. And it's for high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and diabetes. Okay, sure, these conditions can be out of your control, such as if you are predisposed to it because of your genetics, or if you may be at a higher chance of having these conditions because of getting just from aging. But let's be real, most of these conditions are caused by lifestyle choices. So overeating, eating foods that are unhealthy, and not exercising. These are all things that most people have control over and that can help them not have these specific conditions. Now, I do not know if doctors put people on certain medications as a preventative measure. I do not know why someone would do that. It's kind of crazy because I honestly just hate taking medications and I avoid it at all costs. But if that's not the case, like, people actually really do have these conditions, and it's a lot of people, and these conditions are preventable. And these conditions can be fatal if they're not properly controlled, or you can have some serious issues, like with diabetes. Even though it seems like a lot of people are on diabetes, you can lose your eyesight from diabetes. You can lose a limb from diabetes. It's nothing to play around with. So I would rather just not have either of these conditions and prevent them altogether, or try to prevent them, rather than being on medication to try to control it. And I struggle with food. Like, I'm able to keep my weight under control, but food is a hard one for me. So I know that's something I'm going to be struggling with, and I hope I'm not going to pay for it when I get older. Number 2, whether or not you save for retirement will determine your quality of life when you retire. Y'all, listen to me. You need to start saving for retirement yesterday. I know some people have more of a leg up than others, but seriously, just try to save or do what you can. Do research into saving for retirement. Do what you can, because once you retire, you're retired. Of course, you can try to get another job, but do you really want to be one of those people who are working like when they're in their 70s, going into their 80s? I've heard this before and it sounds horrible. And you also do not want to be depending on Social Security as your only source of income. I don't know how many times I've heard people say that they are on a fixed income, so they have very, very limited funds. In fact, Social Security will most likely not even be around in the next decade. And in my opinion, given the amount that people tell me that they receive for Social Security, and looking up like just the average amount that most people get for Social Security, I would consider that supplementary income. But a lot of people live off of this. I mean, people are really, really struggling, like just living off of Social Security. Like, with some stories I've heard, I could literally cry. Like, it's so sad. Like, just imagine having to decide between getting your life-saving medications or buying groceries for the month. Now, contrast that with people who have obviously saved for retirement, or they came up on some money. Like, you really don't know people's personal situation unless they tell you, and people have definitely told me before, but not really with the actual not for people who obviously have money in the retirement. They don't really say anything. But the people who are struggling, they definitely talk about it. But people who have obviously are doing well in retirement, They don't talk about it. I have not heard or talked to anyone who's really told me anything about how they save for retirement. And I want to ask, like, I seriously want to ask, because there's some people who are living their best lives in retirement. So I'm like, I need to get on their level. Like that needs to be my retirement, because I cannot imagine struggling during retirement. Seriously, you have to save for retirement. Like it's oh my gosh, it's just really sad. Like if you don't, you will suffer. And social, like I said, Social Security is not a good plan to bank on Social Security. And just so you know, if you're younger and you see the Social Security coming out of your check, it's not for you. It's for people who are on Social Security right now. So I used to think that Social Security, and I didn't understand, like when people would say Social Security wouldn't be around. And I'm like, why? Well, it's coming out of my check, so where is it going? So the Social Security that's coming out of your check right now is for the people who are on Social Security right now. It's not for you. Number 3, you need to exercise for mobility and to prevent brittle bones. So we all exercise to be healthy and of course to look good in a swimsuit, but you really do need to think about your future self when exercising, because your mobility gets more limited as you get older. So when I talk to some older adults, I can hear in their voice how difficult it is for them to move around. So a lot of times I need for them to get up and go get their medications so I can know what medications they take and the dosage and all that. Or if they need to get up and go find their Medicare card or things like that. I can hear like the struggle in their voice or how much they really do not want to get up and go get it. And I also hear from people who struggle with like cleaning their homes or just all of these things. Now, I cannot assume why that is. Like, I don't know what their reasoning is. I don't know if they got in a bad car accident and now they have a lot of health issues. I do not know what people's situation is, but I would say, and I do know, that if you do exercise regularly, that will help you with your mobility as you age. And I've even felt the impact of not exercising for a few months. Like say if I'm like kneeling down to clean something up, or I've been kneeling down like for a few minutes to do something and I try to stand back up, oh my gosh, like the pain in my back, like seriously, you can feel the effects of not exercising for a while, like especially as you get older. And I'm sure you have heard like how dangerous it is for older adults to fall. Like the older you get, the more dangerous it is for you to have a fall, because a lot of times when older adults fall, they can break their hip. And this can really cause your health to just go downhill. Like once you have like a broken bone or you break your hip, a lot of times I hear about older adults, their health just overall declines after that. And that's because as you get older, your bones get more brittle. So it's a lot more easier for you to break a bone. But then also as you get older, it's more difficult for you to recover from a broken bone or from a surgery. So that I think that's probably why, you know, people's health kind of go on the decline when they do have a broken hip. And gosh, can you imagine breaking your hip? That just sounds so painful and scary to me. So if you break your hip, you have to get a hip replacement surgery, most likely. Well, no, you have to get a hip replacement surgery. And that is a very intense surgery. Like I used to be a surgical technologist. I've been in these surgeries. It is an intense surgery. And imagine like having to recover from the surgery at an older age. Gosh, it's just a lot. And something that can help combat brittle bones is exercising. That helps your bones be stronger. I don't know if that's the right word, but yes, exercising can help you combat having brittle bones, or just assist with not having as brittle of bones. So exercising is so extremely important. Number 4, there are some common surgeries that you would have or will have when you get older. So I already said like a hip replacement surgery. So that's of course usually like if someone has a fall. And then another surgery that I hear all the time, I feel like you can't even, there's some ways I've read about that you can kind of combat having this surgery or having this condition, but it seems like it's just such a common surgery when like just that's caused by aging. So that is cataracts. And a cataract is when the lens of your eye gets cloudy. And this is, like I said, it can be a natural part of aging, and most older adults get cataract surgery by the time they've turned 80. There are some factors that could cause you to be at higher risk for getting cataracts, such as diabetes and smoking. But like I said, honestly, it just seems like most older adults get cataract surgery at some point. And there doesn't seem to be like really a proven way to kind of stop it. But I have read that you can try, you know, to make sure you protect your eyes when you're out in the sun, live a healthy lifestyle, and of course, don't smoke. Like, just don't smoke at all. Just for any health reason. But from what I've heard, the procedure to treat it is really quick and super easy. Like, it's hilarious because I literally just went to the eye doctor and there were so many cars in the parking lot, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, is there like some type of convention here? And then I saw a sign. It said go this way or to sign in for surgery, and I'm assuming it had to be cataract surgery since that's like the most common eye surgery. So I'm like, they're probably just getting people in and out, 20 minutes, get that done, get out, just schedule this one. They have this surgery scheduled on this day, get everybody in and out and be done with it. So yeah, I think that's the positive of it. So even though it is a common condition, it seems like the treatment for it is pretty simple. And then the one positive thing that I've learned about getting older is that 65 is not old. Like, it's not. Like, when I talk to people who are 65, like, and then that's the age where I usually talk to most people at the youngest age. That's when most people qualify for Medicare, is when they turn 65. So when I talk to people on the phone and they're like in their 60s, it's like I'm talking to someone in their 30s. Like, there's really not much of a difference. Now, of course, as you get older and probably at that age, you're probably slowing down or you may be starting to get some type of health issues. Maybe, but when I talk to people at that age, like, they're quick, they understand things very easily. You don't really have to explain things to them. They sound like someone, like I said, they sound like they're in their 30s or 40s. Like, they don't sound that like older. So they don't talk slow. They process information really quickly, just like someone in their 30s or 40s. They understand technology. They most likely have the latest iPhone. They just is so similar to anyone who's younger. And at that age, most people I talk to, they're not on a lot of medications. They're not seeing specialists really. They don't really have a lot of health issues at the age. Like I said, they may be slowing down at the age or maybe noticing some differences, I'm sure. But just from talking to people, they're still fairly healthy in their 60s, as I've seen, or just from my opinion from people I've talked to. So it seems like even if you're in your 60s, you still have time to like get your health in order, start exercising if you haven't done it yet. Like, you still have time to like prepare your body for aging in a more graceful way, and to where you're not like struggling with health issues or being on a lot of medications. So yeah, those are my 5 things I've learned about aging. Of course, some of them I already knew, but just speaking with people like on a more personal level, it really brings it home. So you tell me, was there anything surprising that you learned, or were these things that you already knew? And do you think you would pay more attention or be more cognizant of these issues of aging if you actually had, you know, someone personal in your life who you saw experiencing these things? Let me know. But that's all I have for today. Bye.